Welcome to AK-47s in long-term survival. Now, most people don't really talk about the issues you run into with various firearms in a long-term survival situation. So, in the post-collapse environment, certain things on guns are very hard to repair. Now, if you're going to get an AK-47, if you're going to get one that is selective fire, full automatic, the best one to get is a RPK type, which is set up as a squad automatic weapon. So this is an automatic rifle. It does not have a quick change barrel, so it limits the amount of firepower you can put out. But the good thing about automatic rifles is this one is very light. You can use the standard 30-round magazines, you can use 75-round drums, 20-round mags, and 40-round mags. So you're using the same feed devices you use in any other AK-47. Now with the bipod, the heavy barrel, and the long barrel, this allows you to engage point and area targets in excess of 400 meters. And it gives you a whole lot of firepower that is portable. This is one of the most underrated guns in the world. So if you have access to automatic weapons, this is really the way to go for a light support weapon. Now, this gun in all AK-47s, AK-74s have two weaknesses in long-term survival. One of them is the braided spring that provides the force for the hammer. This is a critical spring. They are extremely difficult to make in a survival situation, so you should buy spares of that. The other thing that is difficult to repair in these guns are frame rails that the bolt carrier rides on. And I'm going to open this gun up and we're going to take a look at it, because I repaired this gun. I've put probably 15,000 rounds through this gun at a minimum. And the way I repaired it, that repair stood up for 15 years. So I'm going to take this apart and then we'll take another look. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at this braided spring that runs in here. This provides the power to work the safety sear, the sear, and the hammer. This braided spring is very difficult to reproduce, so I would buy at least 2 spares of that per weapon. And the other thing is, if this is installed incorrectly, the pins in the side of the gun here won't be held in properly, and as you're using the gun, they will come out and the fire control components will stop working because they'll move out of place. So it's imperative that this be installed as it's shown here properly. This way it's holding all the pins in place that secure the firing mechanism. Now in here you can see frame rails here. Okay, so your ejector is part of a frame rail over here. Now this frame rail over here, where you have the auto sear, this is usually the rail that comes loose and you have a problem with. So when we're looking over here, this one has been repaired. So when you look right here, this one has been silver brazed back in place. Now that operation is very delicate because you have to put heat paste on this part of the receiver, inside and outside, near where you're going to silver braze. And you want to use a silver braze, not a silver solder, because of the strength of this. And the big problem when you're setting this up is you have to get this at the same level as the rear part of it. Now these originally are riveted into place or spot welded into place depending on the country manufacturer. Most of these are spot welded. So when you come in here, in semi-automatic versions, this is a continuous piece across here all the way to the end. In the machine gun versions, you have a cut for this auto sear to work here. So the way this works is your carrier comes forward and it pushes down that auto sear. So you can see in here it's super critical that these pieces be repaired properly. And this is a very delicate operation. So when you're examining AKs to buy them, you should inspect these internal rails. On amateur built guns, these are usually damaged, they're bent, and they're costly to repair. So as you can see, when we silver braze this back together, the placement is critical. So what you'd want to do is remove this auto sear and use a straight edge to come across here and clamp that in place. And then you'd want to apply heat to this piece. You don't want to apply heat to the actual receiver itself. And remember, you're going to want to use heat stop paste to do this. Now I've done this on several guns in the past. So for long-term survival, the two main weaknesses of this weapon are replacements for the braided spring and its proper installation so that the pins and fire control components are secure. The other one is that all of these bolt carrier guides be properly in place, and if you have to go about repairing it, you need to have the wherewithal to do the silver brazing. So these are the two main failure components that you see in these guns in a long-term survival situation. Please comment, rate, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.